Who could that be?
Hey, Tyler. I'm here for my YouTube lesson. Do I call you Doctor or
You could call me...
Dr. Win?
Yeah.
Dr. Music is Win? This seems awkward.
Very important. Looks like you already have a lapel mic.
I always wear a mic. I am mic'd up all 24/7. Yeah.
Well, YouTube step 2 unlocked. Always be
Yes.
mic'd. And finally, we've got our cameras already rolling. You're in school. It's in session.
I'm ready. I need to learn how to be a YouTuber.
Well, this may be the first YouTube lesson of all time. However, it doesn't have to be the worst one of all time. In fact, it has to be the best.
So, are we YouTubing right now?
I think this is it. You have to speak to the camera like you're talking to your friend, which is not what I'm doing.
Really
if you're watching
exciting.
and talking over your
to the camera and
co-host,
make it
it's not
like
really going to be productive
I'm doing
for
something
the action.
right
Maybe
in
if
the
I look at
moment
a different
because
camera, I'll have a different sort of
no
outcome.
idea what I'm doing
It's probably
at
not
all.
going to happen for me.
That's very different than when we're playing guitar together. It's this vlog concept of like jamming vlogs together. It's a vlog jam. Sorry to interrupt, but I'm guessing you've tuned into my channel because you love to learn about music. But what happens when this video tragically ends and you haven't quenched your insatiable thirst for knowledge? Do what I do and head to masterclass.com. It's a monthly subscription service, only $10 a month billed annually, that features over 200 courses on everything from music to film to biohacking your gut health. Just last night, Mashima Bailey's Southern Cooking course taught me that hush puppies aren't quiet, well-behaved dogs. They're delicious fried snacks. Thanks, Mashima. This morning, I learned from Gordon Ramsay that eggs should be whipped, not scrambled. I tried to teach that to my wife, and she wasn't having it. Worried about my marriage? Don't be. Because I took Chris Voss's course on hostage negotiation. Crisis averted. Thanks, Masterclass. This holiday season, you can get up to 50% off an annual Masterclass subscription. Just click the link in this video's description or scan this QR code. It's okay, I'll wait. 50%. That's like half. Just scan it so they'll know Dweezil sent you. You can take that money you save and bet it all with Daniel Negreanu's poker course. Then you'll be rich and a genius. Learn from the world's best to become your best with Masterclass. I'm new to this whole thing. I accidentally started becoming a YouTuber.
It was an accident.
Yeah, and what has happened so far is I really like making short films. I like talking about stuff that I like or that I'm interested in that maybe other people would be interested in, whether it's guitar equipment, music, or just stuff. But that's what YouTube is good for. You can just have like proclivities and share them with people, right?
Indeed.
So you've been doing this for a long time, and I actually, in all seriousness, want to know more about like what is the way to keep developing ideas? How do you keep it going for a long time?
There's 3 rules that I follow, and they are consistency, quality, and authenticity. And you can define those through the values of quality, which are your gear.
Right.
Does your stuff work? Does it crackle? Does it pop? Is the camera in focus? I surely hope this one is. But those are mistakes that can sometimes affect things, but I find quality to be the most all over the map when it comes to content creation.
Quality is the thing that you set for yourself, but don't have any idea whether or not the audience is going to share the same interest and have a swing in viewership. I mean, the thing is, if you're making stuff all the time, and you're doing a lot, you're doing at least 2 videos a week, right?
Yes.
So how many hours in the day are you working on this stuff? Because I think people really want to know exactly what goes into doing something like this. You might see a video and think, yeah, that probably took those guys the few minutes they sat there and, you know, they didn't do any extra work on it. And here it is. You get to watch it for free. But
Yeah.
no, like, this is the thing that I'm actually trying to figure out, like, how can I speed up what I do and make more stuff, but still enjoy it and do the quality, authenticity, and all these things
Yes.
that you're talking about? Because I feel the same way about, like, I want to do stuff because I enjoy it and I like what it is. It's the same way with my dad's music. He was like, I make music that I like, and if other people like it, it's a bonus.
Great.
So-
That's exactly the lens you have to look through. Otherwise, you'll just never have any passion and you won't have successful content, in my
Right.
opinion. So one of the important things, I would say the most important, is consistency. And this answers your question, because if you are consistent in what you do, you will slowly, even if your stuff's not good, the quality's not as good as somebody else, you will keep going up while others tend to taper
Just
off.
for consistency alone.
Consistency alone will take you to the promised land. Whether or not you are talented enough to necessarily be in the promised land is subjective.
And
but
capitalize.
I'm telling you that you will, the hardest working, you get out what you put in. And what I find is that the video that I didn't want to make, or the thing that I didn't want to do, that I was like, it's enough. People have had enough of me. I'm sick of it. The consistency to keep going is what spurs on. Maybe that video doesn't blow up, but it set me on a track to then create this and then do this, and then maybe somebody did see this, and that you can't underestimate the web.
The rabbit hole effect. So I guess kind of what you were getting at is the perceived idea that through consistency, you make enough stuff that an audience that stumbles on it says, oh, I like this. I'm going to go down the rabbit hole. And they go through all your stuff. And if you keep making it, they will stick with you. But then there's the next person that goes down the rabbit hole and they go through and they stick with you. So it's this thing of, like, if you keep feeding this content to the potential people that are interested, you over time have this thing where it rolls over and it becomes a catalog of interest for people.
Yes, and a very important thing in the third point is authenticity. And this is something that can't be faked. And we were having this conversation before we turned on these cameras of hating the phrase "feed the machine."
Right.
I can't be more honest with you. I hate the thought of my content just being fuel to burn off. I really put in a lot of passion and a lot of hard work and effort into coming up with these ideas. And while they're small in the grand scheme of the world, it feels like my whole world when I'm doing it. And I
Right.
think that is what authenticity is, and people can get that little, whether or not you believe me, I'm telling you the truth, like this feeling of realness and rawness in some circumstances, depending on the video, I think really translates through the screen. And if you can act that way in normal life, you know, if you can put your normalized self on camera, which you do perfectly for being such a new YouTuber, A+.
Thank you.
That would really serve you well, because you don't have to have another thing that you got to keep tabs on. You
Well,
know?
in a way, it's a hyper-realized version of yourself, because you have to be able to do storytelling in a way that can be engaging enough that there's an entertainment factor in it. But when you're doing all the stuff yourself, which is very difficult, like you have to think of the stuff, you have to perform the stuff, you have to film it, you have to edit it, you have to make it a thing and keep it on schedule. So there's a ton of discipline in that, which a lot of people don't realize is a necessity for something like this. You have to stick with the program and just keep doing it. So you're, by saying, you know, I don't like the idea of feeding the machine, but in a way, you just have to keep feeding your own machine.
Yes,
because
there's a lot of people and machines getting fed around here. But the point I hope to make with that is I don't want my art. This is art to me. I know it sounds so cheesy, but I don't want any of the stuff that I make to feel diminished or undermined by, well, I just got to do this week. Bang it out, because that's how you can get kind of complacent. And you could have the most passion and authenticity in the world if you wake up feeling down or blue about the whole picture,
Yeah.
which I know happens to everybody.
That's not inspiring to the audience.
Yeah, you're not going to want to put that on. It's not going to work out for you.
Yeah, so that leads me to this, where how do you create that symbiotic relationship where you have an audience that's interested, that wants to support what you do, but may not know how to do that? And that's the challenge when you do stuff like this, is like at a certain point, when it's actually costing you money, in my case, it's time and money to make stuff that's out there for free, but it's enjoyable content.
Right.
And I like doing it, but at a certain point, like if it doesn't actually become a thing that at least pays for the production that's required to make the stuff, then it's not something that I would be able to continue to do.
Well, it sounds like you might be talking about financial incentives. You can't try and find a quick buck doing this. Jared knows this very well because I just started a podcast with him. I'm like, so it's going to be probably like 6 months before we start trying to make any real money. And he's like, oh yeah, okay, trust me.
Yeah.
But I literally started with one guitar in college, and now it's a lot different for me because I followed these 3 small rules of thumb that I figured out for myself in one way or another, and did enough of these sorts of things where I could finally identify what was valuable to me. But I posted videos for a year and nobody watched. And then when one of them blew up, people went back, just like you said. And all that work was not for nothing. It was not only that invaluable learning experience, but it was building that back catalog, understanding what my voice is.
Back in the day, if you wanted to learn about guitar, you had to get like a video series like Hot Licks, or you had a guitar magazine.
I got my old
Paul
Gilbert and Petrucci over there, the RH videos.
Yeah, so the thing is, at this point, there's so much content out there for people to learn about how to do any technique on the guitar, but what there's less of is some of the historical elements of the creativity of how people came up with ideas to record something the way they did, or just an arrangement for a song, or an idea that wasn't chasing a popular trend or something. For example, if you've never heard the song In the Light by Led Zeppelin, check it out. There's some really weird things in that song the whole time. It's the arrangement of it, it's hypnotic in a lot of ways. And I feel like when you hear something like that and it affects you, and then you say, well, how could I do something like that? That's where I find things interesting on this format, where you could actually learn the real behind the scenes things. Like, actually, that thought to do that came from this, which is very different than just learning the lick. You know, you get an idea behind the creativity.
It's so different, and that's how I've approached all my education from the beginning. Is I'm not going to show you the G major scale. I'm going to show you why it sounds this way because of a childhood trauma that I had when I was like 14, and I never forgot that. I'll make you subscribe to Guitar Super System to learn that story. But
yeah, you're like, well, you know, I had a dog named Frying Pan.
There's this whole thing with the G major scale, let me tell you. But it's just making it personable and learning how you would want to be taught. Do unto others. You know what I mean? When it comes to this stuff, it's just a labor of love, and it's so much fun if you allow yourself to ease off a little bit of the pressure that this whole thing puts on you.
Yeah.
So that's a lesson number 4001.
Very good. Well, I actually thought this was helpful because I really needed to, at some point, talk to somebody that's been doing it for a long time.
Sometimes talking it out is half the battle, just like alleviating. Again, you don't feel it yet, but if you get serious about this stuff, you can. It's good pressure, but it's just fun when you get instant feedback. It's still the narcissist in all of us is rewarded deeply. So
well, for me, I'm very interested these days in doing technical dives on equipment, because there's things I always wanted to know about that I could never find out about. So I'm like, well, I'll do some of it on my own and see if anybody else is going to enjoy it. So on some of the upcoming things that I'm doing, I'm going to be doing a lot more gear reviews of things, some of my own equipment. I've got crazy stuff.
You have enough stuff just to start a whole channel on what's in your house, man, I bet.
Yeah, well, there's one thing that I'm going to do soon where I have this guitar that, there was 3 of them that were ever made. I had one, Edward Van Halen had one, and Ry Cooder. Well, that ended in tragedy. The funny part is we talked for another hour or so and had no idea that the audio and the cameras completely stopped. But one thing we did talk about was YouTube memberships. Is it worth it? This is my question to you. Would you participate in a membership on my channel? Because if you do, I'm going to put every dollar that comes in right back into the content, because that's what I want to do. I want to make more stuff that you want to see. But it would actually help because it does cost money to make these videos. So what I'm thinking is I'll announce today that I'm doing a membership, and I have 1 tier only at this point, and I'm naming it after a dinosaur. Well, a made-up dinosaur. You can become a patron-saurus. And if you want to do that, you'll help the channel have more videos and more content that can keep flowing into the future. So think about it. I would appreciate it if you want to become a patron-saurus. And if you don't, that's cool too. I'm just trying to make stuff and enjoy the process. But I appreciate all of you watching this channel, and I'll see you again soon. All right, Megan, just hit the red, no, that one. That one.
That's it. That's it. Move. Move your hip, come on. That's it. With your arms now. That's it.